What's up? My name is JP Saxe. You can check out my interview on CreativeDisc.com, the #1 music website in Indonesia.
So, hello JP Saxe. I'm Luthfi from CreativeDisc. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Luthfi.
Thank you very much for having me here on this interview. So let's start the question, like, how are you today?
I'm having a wonderful day. It is the end of the day here, and I have done almost exclusively things I like since I woke up. How are you?
I'm fine too. In Jakarta, it's like in near 11 a.m. in here. It's like an afternoon.
Well, I hope you have a beautiful day ahead of you.
Yes, of course, you too. So tell us more about your newest album called Dangerous Levels of Introspection.
Well, it's my whole heart and how it was shaped over the last 5 or so years, split up into 13 songs and presented over about 40 minutes musically.
Okay. So, like, is it any reason why you titled this album Dangerous Levels of Introspection? Because, like, you know, it's like a heavy title for me.
Yeah. So have you ever had a moment in your life where you feel like you're being so emotionally analytical that you might ruin everything?
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. So I think this album, the reason I titled it that, well, one, because there's a song called Dangerous Levels of Introspection, which I quite love, that is on this album. But the reason it felt like the right title for the whole thing is I think there is that level of emotional analysis that can be extremely detrimental. And then there's a level of emotional analysis that can make you feel deeper in your life, that makes you feel more present and more grounded. And I think if there's a line between those two things, a very fine line, this album exists right on that line.
It's very, very complex theme, like you said, but it's very, very on ground.
You know, I think people are more emotionally complex than we give ourselves credit for. I think everyone all over the world is out here having extremely in-depth emotional experiences of their own life, and that's where I would like to meet them.
So, next question, like, is this album kind of introspection for you? Introspection of your feeling?
Yeah, it's almost all from my journals, and it's all as candid and sincere as I possibly can be, because I feel like if I can talk about the parts of myself that scare me a little bit, then maybe in listening to them, those parts of yourself that scare you a little bit won't be quite as scary.
So listening this album in this hard time really amazing me. Like you said something that's straight to the heart of your listener in this hard time through this album. Like, do you have any thought about that?
Any thought about what?
Like this album, it's kind of maybe right in the pandemic time.
Oh, well, I think writing it while in quarantine, well, not right. I wrote it over the last 4 years, but producing it in quarantine certainly gave me quite a lot of time to obsess over every little detail, because every little detail of this album I put thought into.
Because you know, all of the songs that you've played on Dangerous Levels, it is straight from your heart. I think it's really honest. It's really portrayed the pandemic nowadays, the current situation of our society.
Yeah, I mean, I think slowing down has given us all an opportunity to really lean into the crevices of our deepest thoughts and fears and ideas, and I've certainly been doing that a lot longer than the last year and a half. And I think there's good in that and there's bad in that. But, you know, I want to make the kind of album that makes you feel a little less alone at 11 p.m. alone in your room, overthinking every feeling you've ever had.
That's what I feel when I heard your album last night.
That makes me happy.
Yes, like you know, is it like it's kind of this is a great album to make you thinking and maybe slow down a little of your life, because you know you sing very somber and mellow on the majority of this album. Like maybe like this is a moody and emotional album.
I would say it's 65% moody and emotional, 20% love, 25% intense and beautiful, and 100% sincere.
Because, you know, when you've got many sincere song I heard in your newest album. Like, tell us more about the process when you're writing a sincere song.
I am trying to talk to myself in these songs, and I do that by journaling a lot, by writing a lot. I want it to feel like you're listening to my internal dialogue a little bit. Um, I want it to feel like I'm not trying to tell you anything. I'm just kind of letting you in on my thoughts.
So, how do you make and deliver a melancholy and song based on honesty and sincerity without being sounds too fake or too cheesy? Because it's kind of hard for a melancholy song didn't fall into too fake or too cheesy, I think.
Um, I I don't know. I think things sound cheesy when they're over summarizing an emotion.
Hey, that's not interesting.
And when they're trying to speak too broadly. And I am not trying to speak broadly. I'm trying to speak extremely specifically.
It's like an interesting thought from you because maybe like the detail of the moment is make your songwriting make sense, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think whether you're writing about love or heartbreak or grief or pain or joy or any feeling, if you're talking about what you think it should feel like, it'll be corny. But if you're talking really honestly about what it truly is, even if what it is isn't what you want it to be, then it feels more real.
That's an interesting facts from you, interesting opinion from you. Thank you very much for this opinion. Wow.
I'm happy to talk to you. It's my pleasure. Thank you for listening to my album.
Okay, so let's talk about your biggest hit, If the World Was Ending. Like, tell us the story after that song becoming a hit anywhere and lands you a nomination for Grammy.
Well, I wrote it with my favorite songwriter in the world, Julia Michaels. We wrote it on the day we met, July 20th, 2019. And I had no idea the way that song would change my life when we wrote it. But even though it was long before the pandemic when we wrote it, I think the thing about trying to be truthful in your songs is sometimes you stumble upon something that's more true than you even meant it to be. And I think the way that If the World Was Ending resonated as we entered the pandemic is a good example of that.
Is it like a pandemic mood like in this song? Because it's heartbreaking song. Like, it's not heartbreaking, but it's a great song.
It was about an earthquake. It's about an earthquake.
Yes, it's an earthquake, but it's kind of resonate in this pandemic mood. I think it's
totally
great.
I mean, we wrote that about imagining if the world was ending, because if the world was ending, then you could talk to those people you wanted to talk to. But in that moment, we were imagining it. We didn't anticipate 8 months later no one would have to imagine it because it would be very real.
That's why you put was not is in this song, right? In the title of the song.
Yes, it's an if. It's an if.
So, last question. Mention 5 things we didn't know about JP Saxe.
5 things you didn't know about me. I don't have too many secrets. So,
really?
I don't have too many secrets. So I will tell you 5 things, but some people may know them. Some people may know them, but I'm going to tell you them anyway. So I am extremely good at the game Bananagrams. I'm obsessed with boba.
Okay.
I 5 things. I'm very competitive at bowling.
Oh,
my favorite TV show is about glass blowing.
Okay.
And 5 things they didn't know about me. I was the captain of the baseball team in high school.
Wow, cool! You're such a sportive dude. Like you
Not
play bowling
anymore.
and baseball. Not anymore, but you used to be, right?
Used to be.